Hey Scorpio, thanks for checking out your weekly forecast for March 8th through the 14th. This is going to be for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising. If you happen to fall upon this video outside of the dates I mentioned, don't you worry, my dears. You have found it exactly when you were meant to find it, whenever the messages were ready for you or whenever you were ready for the messages. Keep in mind these are general readings for the collective. So not every single aspect of it will resonate, but take what does and leave the rest. Let's go ahead and see what's coming up for you guys. One more shuffle here. One more good shuffle. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. All right. So your first card, my darlings, is the Seven of Cups. Okay, this also came up for Aries, I believe. So some of you may be dealing with an Aries because they had the same card coming up. If you are, I feel like you might be at an impasse with this person where something in terms of timing is not aligning or lining up. Not necessarily bad blood or anything like that, but it could be a situation where you guys both have your own thing going on and you're not really able to, you know, help each other. So there could be like a lesson here of like independence in the process for you. However, we're going to focus on you, Scorpio. We're going to set that aside and we're going to look at the Seven of Cups energy. Seven of Cups is a card that happens when we are overwhelmed and we're not sure which direction to go in. Okay, oftentimes it comes up because all of a sudden it's like you're at this blank page, right? And it is a time for you to make a decision and to choose a direction, but you're seeing that there's many options available. Okay, this is one of the things that happens as we're kind of raising in vibration and raising in frequency. We start to have we start to realize that there are several solutions available, or there's several doors that we could go through, but we become very scared to walk through them because a lot of the times when I see Seven of Cups come up, it's for somebody who, like, growing up, they were made to feel like what they wanted didn't matter, right? Like either you were kind of taught not to complain and you get what you get and you don't get upset, or anytime you ask for something like a grown-up, oh, can we please get this cereal, or can we please get this toy, it was like, no, I'm not putting money into that garbage. Like, that's garbage, put it away, we're not going to spend money on that. Or no, don't you want this instead? I think this is better for you. So you kind of maybe grew up feeling like, okay, I guess what I want is garbage or stupid, or I guess I want the wrong things. So instead of really embracing the path that you wanted or the things that you wanted, you always kind of went with what you were told you should want or like, or what other people around you were liking or doing. And when the Seven of Cups comes up and you realize you have a choice and you realize you have a right to want what you want, it's like, oh man, but I don't want to choose the wrong thing. So you might be afraid that you're going to make the wrong choice or the wrong decision. I always say with the Seven of Cups, the best thing for you to do, Scorpio, is to go ahead and write out the different options available to you and just kind of daydream and imagine yourself living that life. Which scenarios feel right to you? Which scenarios fill you with a sense of happiness and joy as you imagine yourself living that way? Once you do that, you can go ahead and you can start looking into, what do I have to do to make that happen? What is it going to cost? How much time is it going to take? What do I need to do to get the ball rolling in that direction? And once you have your research done, now you're going to be able to have a very clear path towards what is possible, like what you can do now and what maybe are going to be the long-term goals or the things that you're going to get to later. And then you don't feel overwhelmed. Now all of a sudden you have a plan, you have a direction, you have a plan, you have a list, and you can get going. Okay, your next card here, my dears, is the Two of Wands. And the Two of Wands is a card about choices and decisions. Okay, there could be partnerships coming up here. If I'm not mistaken, partnership issues also came up for Leo. So maybe some of you have a partnership with a Leo, but put that aside here. The Two of Wands is going to be a card about balancing your choices and decisions and thinking carefully before you accept some kind of an offer. I see Two of Wands come up a lot of the times when there's an offer coming your way, but you're being lowballed and you don't know it. And so what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that person sees how much they're going to gain from you, sees how much they're going to have a positive outcome working with you or purchasing from you or hiring you or whatever it might be, or being in a relationship with you, whatever it might be. But they also realize that you don't know how valuable you are in the situation. You don't know how valuable you are to them. And so they might kind of try to take advantage of that. So whatever you're being offered, it's a good idea for you to get things down in detail. What do I mean by that? I mean, if somebody is saying, hey, why don't you come live with me and you won't have to pay rent, or I'll discount your rent if you help me around the house. Okay, what does that mean? You have to talk to the person and set boundaries, set limits. Otherwise, before you know it, you might be on call 24/7, right? Or they may be asking you to do things that you don't want to do. If they're like, oh, hey, go up and patch the roof. You're like, what? I said I would help you around the house. I didn't say I was going to go up on the roof. So what does it mean to help? Like, what do you mean? What kinds of things are you going to ask me to do? Right? What is the time frame? What is the time that I can expect that that's like my time. Or if you're being offered a job, they might be giving you a lot of responsibilities and it might be a big deal for you. You might be excited about the position or the title. It's a good idea for you to do a little bit of research and see what does that job go for in your area. What is the market value? Or if you're selling a business or doing something in terms of percentages or ownership or whatever, right? Some kind of a business deal. Do your research. There's so much available on the internet for free. Do what you can to see what appropriate percentages might be, what appropriate prices might be, what appropriate salary is, right? So that you can go in with knowledge, knowing, okay, this is fair, so that you're not getting lowballed. Your next card here, my dears, is the Ace of Swords. And the Ace of Swords is a card about, for me anyway, the crown chakra. I see this as a card where it comes up when you're beginning to think more clearly. Ideas are coming to you, solutions are coming to you. But I see it come up a lot of the times for people when they're breaking out of like this mental fogginess, this unclarity, and they're coming into a time of figuring out how to do things more efficiently, right? You might come from a family line, an inheritance of very complicated living, very complicated life. And I kind of laughed there because just to save time, I won't go into it, but Spirit kind of gave me a visual of something that made me laugh, the way that they were telling me this message. So I'm not laughing that, you guys are having a hard time. And I can tell you there's some ways that I can relate to it. So it's not that I'm laughing at anybody. But you might come from like a family line where things are always complicated. Nothing is ever simple, right? Like there might be times that you try to help, and it becomes a big issue. It becomes really complicated. Or I don't know, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And it's just constantly, things are getting all mixed up, right? Or when it comes to just your daily life, you're just used to everything being so complicated. So like you could never do things smoothly. There's always some kind of a hiccup. There's always some kind of an issue. There's always some kind of, wrench getting thrown into the works. When I see Ace of Swords, you're coming out of that, right? You're coming out of that and you're finding solutions. You're thinking more clearly. You're finding ways to do things the quickest, easiest, most efficient way possible. And there could also be, Scorpio, for some of you, clearing away of limited beliefs, right? The things that have held you back in life, where there's things you've wanted to do, but there have always been those little things in your head of why you can't do them, in terms of like, not being good enough, or, oh, like people don't take me seriously, or, I'm not talented enough, or I'm not as good as other people, or whatever it might be, coming out of those limited beliefs. Okay. And so you're putting yourself out there, or you're preparing to put yourself out there and moving forward, because you're clearing away all of the little thoughts that have held you back. Scorpio, I feel a lot of you are really going to have Archangel Jophiel around you a lot in the coming, I'm going to say, weeks, not just this week, but the coming weeks, maybe even through the rest of the year for some of you. Archangel Jophiel helps us with speaking more lovingly with ourselves. Like that little record that plays in our head, that little voice in our head can be very mean. She helps us with having that record be nice, be positive, be optimistic, be more loving. She helps us to see the beauty within ourselves, inwardly, outwardly, to see the beauty in others, to see the beauty around us, and to bring beauty into our life. Okay, she's connected with roses. So maybe some of you are feeling drawn towards roses. Maybe some of you are like all of a sudden getting into like rose water and you don't know why. Or you're just kind of maybe seeing roses or being drawn to roses. And so some of you might really be connecting with that energy and bringing in this energy of like just being kind to yourself, starting in your mind, right? Some of you have mastered being kind on yourself in terms of like not being the workhorse all the time, not being, loyal to the very end and putting yourself on the back burner to go rescue everybody. You may have mastered that already, like to be gentle with yourself physically and emotionally, but now you're coming into the headspace, okay? Being gentle with yourself, with your internal dialogue. Your next card here, Scorpio, is the Lovers, okay? And there could be a Gemini aspect here for some of you, because the Lovers card is associated with the astrological sign of Gemini. However, we're going to look at the Lovers card here in terms of the energy. This is a major arcana card. And when the major arcana cards come up, we're at a significant crossroads, okay? It's like we're coming into a defining chapter in our life. And it's something we came here to learn, something we came here to master. And the Lovers card is seen as a romance card, right? Like relationship, love, romance. Those of you who watch my videos, you know that in the weekly forecasts, I steer clear of love. I steer clear of romance. I do a monthly love reading. So if you're looking for love and romance specifically, that's linked in the description of the video. So we're going to look at the Lovers card outside of love and relationship. Although for some of you, you could be making a decision here between people, or if you want to stay or go. But we're going to look at the Lovers card outside of love and romance. So for those of you who don't know, the Lovers card, the sixth major arcana card, when the tarot first was put together and introduced to people, it wasn't called the Lovers. It was called the Choice. I believe the Choice, the Decision, and I believe some decks, or there might have been a deck that referred to it as the Sacrifice. Because the Lovers card is about deciding what you want and how much you want it, and what your deal breakers are. What's more important to you? What are your priorities? And so those of you who are beginning to think about love and romance, I feel the Lovers card is coming up for you, saying that there may be a couple of significant soulmates coming in for you, but more importantly, this is a time for you to get very clear about what you want for the future, how you want to live your life. Do you really want to be in a relationship? Do you really want love? And if so, what does that mean to you? What is the ideal relationship for you? Okay, is it really truly the white picket fence and the house in the manicured little neighborhood and little babies running around, or is it something more like a partnership, or something more creative, or is it maybe like a person that you don't have to live with, but like you have a companionship and an attraction, right? Like, what does that mean to you? What is the ideal relationship? First and foremost, what is the ideal life? And how does the relationship fall into that? How does it complement that? The Lover's card also, for some of you, I'm feeling a sense of like you're really limiting your interactions with people. You might be coming into a time or a period of seclusion where you're focusing on your health. Okay, you're focusing on your health because I feel heaviness in the heart chakra. Okay, a lot of stress, a lot of emotions that you've been carrying, right? Having to be the strong person, having to, get through difficult situations. And you're coming into a time in a period of having some rest here, having some time. And it's like you're having to do a lot of clearing, a lot of releasing. Okay, so sea salt baths can be very helpful. Cord cutting, sound baths are wonderful. I know right now, because of the time that we're in, we can't do a whole lot of sound bath kind of stuff because they might not be allowed where you are, or you might feel uneasy about being in that environment. But you can definitely find all over YouTube and all over the internet sound bath videos that you can just put in your little earphones and listen to them. So through sound, through baths, through saging, incense, bells, whatever works for you. I feel like you're clearing your heart. You're clearing your heart of the heaviness. You're clearing your heart of the burdens. You're clearing your heart from the betrayals you feel, from sacrifices that you've made that haven't been appreciated. Okay, I am going to be honest with you, Scorpio. I'm feeling a feeling here like I don't want to sound too cliche here. Some of you may have heard of this example before, like an arrow that's being pulled back, right? Like the arrow's being pulled backward, and then when it's released, it goes flying to the target. So I feel like right now, Scorpio, you guys are coming into a period of time where there's going to be some pulling backward. There's going to be some kind of like withdrawing from people or experiences or situations. Some of you might even be like feeling the need to go stay somewhere a while, like have some kind of a little retreat for yourself. But after that period, whatever you're kind of cooking up here in your mind, your plans, your ideas, they're going to take off very quickly. You're going to hit your mark very quickly. But I feel that energy right now of just kind of like slowing down, being pulled backward, and then boom. So I don't think this is going to be a long cycle or a long period, but I definitely do feel, Scorpio, it's time to slow down, because what's going to come up in the near future is very, very big, and it's requiring for you to really come out of your comfort zone, really be ready to be seen, really be ready to live the life that you've wanted to live, but you haven't been able to because of that Scorpio loyalty, being there for everybody else or doing what other people wanted you to do. So I feel like when this happens, it might be like you even have, it's going to come across to people like you have a whole new identity. And that might be why the Gemini energy is here, because Gemini had something very similar in their reading about how, like, I felt in a very short period of time, like in a few months, people were going to look at them and be like, I didn't even recognize you. And I feel that same thing for you guys, Scorpio. So you may have a placement in Gemini, and that might be why this message is coming up for both. But regardless, even if you don't have that placement, I'm feeling a very similar energy here where like there's this whole like people I feel are gonna look at Scorpios in a few months, like in the next 3 to 4 months, like they completely and totally became somebody else, like they changed who they are. Some people might even look at you and think, oh, well, Scorpio forgot all the little people, or oh, Scorpio is like being fake now. But really, you're stepping into who you really are. You're coming out of the labels, you're coming out of the conditioning. But I feel like a few months from now, it's going to be like you're a completely different person, right? There's like a little cocoon period right now, and you're emerging that butterfly. Beautiful energy, Scorpio. Be sure to watch your moon sign and rising sign videos, because some weeks those are going to resonate with you more than others. Be sure also to check out the love readings for those of you who are into that. And if you would like a private reading with me, be sure to go to calendly.com/amethystangelite. I also have it linked in the description if you want to check that out as well. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. Take care, my dears.